Hey everybody, welcome to the Outer Rim Rookie, a beginner's journey to joining the 501st and Rebel Legion. My name is Rob Williams. So as some of you already know, I'm building my Ten Nun costume. I've already built a Nine Nun costume, you can see the head right there. But this time I decided to take it one step further and build a Ten Nun costume, whose head is right over here. But that's for a future video. Today I'm going to teach you about the history of Ten Nun, and it is bigger than I expected. Let's get to it. Ten Nun is a male Sullustian from the planet Sullust. Originally, he was a bounty hunter because in the Star Wars universe, that is basically one of the top 5 occupations available for people. He eventually joined the Rebel Alliance, most likely due to the mistreatment of the Sullustian people by the Empire. Ten was a demolitions expert that eventually led him to flying a B-Wing bomber, one of the more heavy-duty spacecrafts in the Rebel fleet. He flew for Blue Squadron during the Battle of Endor using the call sign Blue 5. He was then promoted to Blue Squadron leader at the end of the battle. In Legends canon, he would stay behind on Endor and assist on fighting forest fires with a modified B-Wing. He eventually would run a few missions with Luke Skywalker where he was sadly captured by a man named General Weir, who tortured him and left him for dead. Behind the scenes, identifying Ten Nun is quite confusing due to the fact that he and Nyan Nun are so similar. There are only 2 Sullustians in the final cut of Return of the Jedi, and both characters are wearing a red flight suit and a pilot's cap. One of the Sullustians is in a B-Wing bomber vest with a breathing mask hanging around his neck. He can be found in the Home One briefing scene and the Ewok celebration at the end. The other Sullustian simply wears a standard black vest. This is the most visible of the 2 and the most vocal as well, where he is seen in the cockpit of the Falcon and in other scenes chatting with peers while Lando and Han discuss the fate of the Falcon before the big fight. Over time, it was decided that they were 2 separate people. I assume it is because it was hard to explain the difference in costumes between scenes. However, things became even more confusing when pre-production images of a 3rd Sullustian in a white jumpsuit with the same breathing mask would appear in trading cards, card games, comics. Eventually, toy companies would run with these designs as well, mixing up the 2 different Sullustians. And then after that, more pics and vids of behind the scenes would appear. In this photograph, we see puppeteers working with the Ten Nun version. In this deleted scene, we see a completely different Sullustian in a white flight suit and vest putting out imaginary fires on the Falcon. And finally, we get this deleted scene with someone in a green flight suit. Green suits are typically for an A-Wing pilot. However, in this scene, it takes place in a B-Wing cockpit. I actually reached out to Mike Quinn on Instagram, the man synonymous with the Nine Nun and Ten Nun character. I asked if he was a part of this scene, and he would confirm that this was Ten Nun in a B-Wing, but he was unsure why he was wearing a green flight suit. In past interviews, Mike would discuss that he would assist with helping with the evolution of the creature from a simple puppet to one that would eventually move its eyes, mouth, and even wiggle its ears. For me, I have to assume that this green pilot was just another part of the evolution of the Sullustian puppet. In an interview with StarWarsInterview.com back in 2006, he said this: "I was looking at one of the masks and was fiddling with it. Then Phil said that some scenes were coming up with this guy in the Falcon, and now he had to speak dialogue. The problem was he hadn't been designed and built for that. They were thinking they could put air bladders in the cheeks for movement, but his mouth and eyes were static, and the only way around it was to cover his mouth with one of those oxygen masks. That's why there are a few pictures that have this. Also, you'll see the 9 scenes in the briefing room. He has this hanging from his neck. I put my hand inside the mouth and began moving it like a hand puppet. Phil liked what he saw and suggested it to George." When I started this video, I was going to give a simple rundown of who is Ten Nun. I remember believing for a long time that 9 and 10 were brothers due to the similarities in appearance and names. But as I researched more about this character, I was led down this long, windy, erratic path that I found fascinating. Something I was unaware of as a simple fan. I don't typically dive into the complicated world of movie making, and I'm very aware of the many facts of information I am missing. If I had the time and the resources, I would love to dive even further, chat with people who are more closely connected with this character. Not because of my interest in Ten Nun or Nyan Nun, but more as a curious witness on how the sausage is made when it comes to character design in Star Wars. It may also connect to the fascination on how the Star Wars universe works as a whole. Characters like Ten Nun, Wilro Hood, IG-88, these are characters that have seconds on the screen, but eventually, years later, they have a lore, a following, something greater than what was originally intended. Maybe it speaks to me and my desire for the genie's lamp wish that one day I could find myself behind a latex mask, playing a Gran in a Star Wars show or film, just standing in the background, chatting up other aliens, or playing an alien harp and have my name up on the Star Wars canon lore. Or maybe I just identify with these creatures in a personal way. Just a simple cog in the machine who hopes to just be recognized just a little. Just make my mark on this world in some fashion. For someone to remember me down the road, a slight glimpse of immortality.
So there you go. I think more information than you expected about a character that very few people know about, but I actually really enjoyed researching this. And if you've got more information out there or know more about this character, please let me know. I would love to learn more about this. I enjoyed researching, looking through Wikipedia, looking through StarWarsInterviews.com, going through just pictures upon pictures and YouTube videos and all that sort of stuff. It was actually a lot of fun. I enjoy the research part of Star Wars. Anyways, thanks for watching. Next episode, let's put Ten Numb together and get it approved. And I'm going to show you how I did it. If you'd like to learn more about how I built my 9 Nun costume with the help of so many people, check out the videos. I got a playlist of all the 9 Nun costume videos, and I think you'll really enjoy it. It was a great journey, and it's kind of encouraged me to go further with this costume. Don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe. We're nearly at 500. I'm like super excited about this. Thanks for those who have subscribed, and if you haven't done so, please do so. We got lots of stuff on this channel, not just me rattling on about 4th, 5th rate Star Wars characters, but we've got Jamie who's putting together a Ghostbusters costume. We've got Steve doing a lot of fun stuff also with the 501st. We've got podcasts. We've got a whole bunch of shorts. It's a lot of fun here at the Gen X Wing podcast YouTube channel. So please like, subscribe, help us get to 500. So thanks for watching, and remember, armor and legend are built on hope. Bye.
Thank you.